Disclaimer: the following video that you're about to view only contains audio only, as it's from a wrestling internet radio show. If you are looking for wrestling video footage, you will not find that on this video. This wrestling radio show may contain strong language that may be offensive to those under the age of 18. If you are under the age of 18, please get permission to listen to this episode. Enjoy, comment, and subscribe.
Hold one, arm drag. Whoa! This is
Brett screwed Brett.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Brett screwed Brett.
hold two, arm bar.
Hey, get a nice shot of the brand new Mr. and Mrs. Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate your hat. I hate your t-shirts. I hate your wristbands. I hate your shoes. I hate your music. I hate the C Nation. I hate everything that you stand for.
Sodas rule. Yeah, they do.
Hold three, the moss-covered, three-handle family Gradunzo.
Live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., this is the RCWR Show with your host, Lee Sanders.
And a good, happy Sunday night to everybody. How's it going? This is the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders, welcoming you to the RCWR Post Show. Going to be covering the fallout from tonight's 26th installment of the WWE Survivor Series. For you guys that might be away from the game right now, as the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing against the Baltimore Ravens, we have you covered right now. We'll give you coverage of the game as it's in progress. Right now it's fourth quarter with 11 minutes left as Baltimore is beating Pittsburgh Steelers 13-10. It's been a very close game throughout the night. We'll keep you guys posted on that as we go during the course of the show, of course. We got the phone lines that's open up right now. Feel free to jump on in there when you get a chance. You can call us at 646-478-3525. Once again, that's 646-478-3525. Kick on back, Smile and Dow. We'll put you live on the air. We definitely want to hear from you if you saw tonight's Survivor Series pay-per-view. As always, we got the chat room that is loaded up right now. Welcome to those of you in the chat room. Welcome to those of you that might be listening to tonight's show for the very first time. Do hope you have a great time listening to this, as surprisingly there's not really too many Survivor Series post shows on right now covering the pay-per-view. A lot of them might not be coming on to either a little bit later tonight or maybe until tomorrow. By then, it's kind of old news. So we welcome you guys for checking us out tonight. All right, so let's go on ahead and let's jump into it. And one thing I should let you guys know, for those of you that might be a little bit phone shy, you don't want to interact with us, don't want to call in, we do have Twitter, and we have been interacting with quite a few of you during the course of this weekend leading up into tonight's pay-per-view. We actually were talking with many of you right on up until we came on the air here. If you wish to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so. Hit us up at Infinity1Prod. You can also interact with us on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. All right, so it was the 26th annual of WWE Survivor Series, and, I was just feeling a bit nostalgic as I was eagerly anticipating tonight's pay-per-view, and I actually took a trip down memory lane and refreshed my memory just over the past 10 years of some of the Survivor Series matches that we saw, and I'm looking at what was on the card for tonight's pay-per-view, and I'm saying to myself, well, you know what, it has the greatest potential in the world to be as successful as some of these other Survivor Series pay-per-views that I can think of. And, of course, Survivor Series, it has been one of those events that has given us some really great moments. Of course, we got to talk about those top three. The debut of The Undertaker. I would be shot where I stand right now if I did not mention that. Of course, we had the debut of The Rock. At the time, he was pushing the whole Rocky Maivia, playing off of his dad's name. Of course, HBK, Hitman, Bret Hart. Come on, we got to make sure we put that plug in there. A lot of great history with the Survivor Series. Of course, it's no stranger to the Viper, Randy Orton, few other people. Turns out, with regards to triple threat matches, we learned some very interesting statistics tonight as we were checking out tonight's pay-per-view as color commentators, first time teaming up for a pay-per-view. John Bradshaw, Layfield, Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, all doing their thing. Was I the only one, guys, that kind of felt as though JBL seemed a bit out of his element several times? I mean, you're listening to him commentating. He just sounded as if he really wasn't that confident what he was talking about. He just kind of seemed like he was giving off incorrect information there, and he was corrected several times during the night. It was one of those moments that I kind of was like, JBL, why don't you kick back and be quiet for a little bit? Let Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole do their thing. They got this. You know, you on the SmackDown side of things, brother. Let them get this. They got a little bit more pay-per-view experience under their belt. Has been a while since you last worked with the WWE, working behind the booth. But nonetheless, still overall, the commentating was pretty freaking solid on this. I cannot go into the whole card without first talking about that YouTube pre-show. And, you know, we always give you guys the fixings over here when it comes to the YouTube pre-show. We pay attention to every little thing. Now, it should be noted that before the YouTube pre-show had really kicked off, we saw a grand total of just about 2,000 viewers on YouTube, okay? Now, it had got a recap there of what all was happening with the Big Show, Sheamus angle. We saw the viewership at its strongest here come in at just a little bit over 3,000. That would be followed up by the three-man band match as they had took on, and the three-man band actually turned out to be Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal, as they had took on the team of Cobra, Santino, Marella, and Zack Ryder. Now, some of you might be listening to that, and if you were checking out our Call That Match special from Saturday, we gave you guys the most updated information that we had. We had let you guys know that it had appeared as though Santino, Zack Ryder, they were pulled from the pre-show for unknown reasons, and Santino had put out a little tweet saying some shape, form, or another he was going to be getting revenge because he hadn't forgotten what the three-man band had did to him. And in their place was Tyson Kidd, Justin Gabriel. Now, I was fine either way, but it did not affect how I felt the match was going to play out overall as far as the winners. So long as 3MB was in there, I'm saying to myself, 3MB, they're the hottest ticket right now. Some people, they just don't like them. I'm actually one of those people that don't quite get it just yet. I know they're playing off of Heath Slater, but I'm really not feeling it like that. But it's popular right now. You go with what's popular. Didn't matter to me who they had taking on the three-man band. I just knew three-man band was going to pick up the victory. Now, we saw on the actual pre-show it would turn out to be Cobra. Now, you all that were paying attention to the WWE feed lines during the weekend, if you happen to had noticed some type of an announcement that was made that Cobra was actually going to be taking on 3MB, let us know. But as far as we were able to tell, we didn't actually hear any announcement. We were actually a little bit surprised, like a few people, that Cobra was in this. But nonetheless, this was actually a great tag team match. It was nice to, for one, see Jinder Mahal without that irritating turban around his head. Not a knock to people of that faith or that religion, that lifestyle. I just always thought it was just a big distraction just seeing him wear that. And, he actually wrestled without it. Just nice bald head for those of you that might have been wondering. And great tag team match right here. We saw the team of 3MB pick up the win. Now, at this point, the viewership comes in at 3,277. keep those numbers in mind. There's a reason why we're mentioning this. We're trying to help you guys pinpoint what were the strongest segments during this 30-minute pre-show. From there, we got the unfortunate recap of AJ, John Cena, as it's that AJ scandal. Now, notice right here, the viewership actually dropped. It went down to just a little bit under 3,000. From there, we saw R-Truth give an interview with Josh Matthews, and this was kind of a chuckle moment right here, as Josh Matthews was saying to R-Truth, hey, how does little Jimmy feel about this match you're going to be having? And R-Truth is like, little Jimmy isn't even here. There is no little Jimmy. What are you talking about? So for a brief moment there, you're left with the impression that, all right, finally, R-Truth is starting to become sane. Maybe we're about to see the old school R-Truth come back here, as R-Truth is talking about how he's going to just go in this match, get that United States title away from Cesaro, and become the new United States champion, bring that belt back home to the U.S. And just when we thought the segment was over, Josh Matthews, he says to Scott Armstrong and Matt Stryker, who's doing the pre-show commentating, that, okay, well, looks like R-Truth is focused, doesn't acknowledge little Jimmy. R-Truth turns around, he says, hey, little Jimmy does exist. He just wasn't here. He went to go use the bathroom. And from there, we saw, unfortunately, R-Truth get an apology from Josh Matthews, as he wanted Josh to apologize to little Jimmy for saying that he doesn't exist. I know, right? Pretty lame. At this point, the viewership for that particular segment came in at 2,911. From there, we had got the recap from the John Cena, CM Punk, Ryback, as they're going to be having that triple threat match. Something else that we did not find out about until later on in the match, in the final few precious seconds, was that this match was a no disqualification match. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I did not hear anything about a no disqualification match. Those of you in the chat room, if you heard something prior to the pay-per-view, feel free to let us know. But last we had checked the card going into the official start time of the pay-per-view. We did not hear anything about a no DQ triple threat match for the WWE Championship. And to end the pre-show, it came in at a total YouTube viewership of, this is at the end now, 2,586. So just look at those numbers right there. Surprising, isn't it, folks? Strongest thing that we had of the night, despite many people that don't particularly care for the three-man band, it actually turns out that was the strongest segment of the pre-show. How about that? Even stronger than the Big Show Sheamus recap, stronger than the John Cena CM Punk Ryback recap. That sends a very interesting statement right there. All right, now it is the official start for the WWE Survivor Series pay-per-view, and we saw a pretty kick-ass video intro that really set the tone. We had saw still images of The Rock, Stone Cold, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, as the narrator was talking about how the pay-per-view is, how the Survivor Series pay-per-view is one of those pay-per-views where a man makes his stance, where the battlefield is laid out, and where controversy happens, and it just blends in so perfectly to picking up what all has been going on with Sheamus, Big Show. Of course, it ends on the WWE champion, CM Punk, where the question is asked, can CM Punk make it for one more day to have held that WWE championship for a full 365 days? First match of the night, and it was a nice welcome bonus match that we had saw. We had got a 5-on-5 elimination tag match, which had saw the team of Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, Tyson Kidd, Justin Gabriel. I like how they showed them love right there. They said, look, you guys were in the pre-show. Hey, why don't we just have you be on the actual pay-per-view itself? So nice little touch right there. Brodus Clay, so keep those names in mind. Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, Tyson Kidd, Justin Gabriel. Brodus Clay took on the team of the primetime players, Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, Epico and Primo, and Lord Tensai. And this was one of those moments where you're looking at Tensai, you're saying, well, hot damn, Tensai makes a pay-per-view appearance. When was the last time we've seen Tensai? I'll tell you the last time we saw Tensai. The last time we saw Tensai, he actually had suffered a loss at the hands of R-Truth, believe it or not. I believe that was just a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. Funny stuff right there. All right, let's talk about the order of elimination because we were paying attention to that for you guys. Let's hook you guys up with that right now. The order of elimination, it goes as follows. We saw Brodus Clay get eliminated first by Lord Tensai, and that was via pinfall. The second elimination came as Tensai was taken out by Justin Gabriel via pinfall. Next up, we saw Titus O'Neil get eliminated by Tyson Kidd via pinfall. Epico would later come in, and he would eliminate Tyson. Epico would get eliminated by Tyson Kidd via sharpshooter. I'm like fumbling with my words over here. I don't have my glasses. Bear with me. All right. From there, we saw Primo get eliminated by Rey Mysterio via pinfall. Darren Young would get eliminated via pinfall from Rey Mysterio, and I felt so sorry for Darren Young because Darren Young had got ganged up on big time. He got ganged up by Rey Mysterio. He got ganged up by Sin Cara, Justin Gabriel, Tyson Kidd. They all did all their high spots, and if you've been watching those guys, you know the type of moves that they love to do when they get on top of the turnbuckle. Just imagine those high-flying moves that they like to do. And, I mean, they were getting in all their spots like in a chain reaction, just one after the other. I felt so bad for Darren Young because Darren Young was beat up so bad. He was beat up in a way where I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say this, and I just want you guys to bear in mind, I am a brother. They beat up this brother so bad. They beat him like he was with a white girl. That's how bad they beat poor Darren Young up. It was some hilarious stuff to see this guy get beat the way he got beat. But Team Rey Mysterio, they ended up picking up the victory. All right, moving right along now, folks. We saw a backstage segment where we saw Caitlyn was getting ready for her match against Eve for the Divas Championship. But check this out. This got really interesting, folks. We saw an unknown blonde-haired assailant just come out of nowhere, and she just starts attacking Caitlyn. And you're like, oh, my God, is this a recap of what had happened just a couple of months ago? Is Caitlyn possibly going to be taken out again? Doesn't happen this time around. We see Caitlyn. She quickly turns the tides, and she's on top of this unknown assailant, blonde-haired assailant at that. We see her tugging at the hair. The hair just, poof, comes right off. Okay, it's a wig. So now we see Caitlyn. She's really trying to figure out who this person is that's attacked her. And, folks, it's none other than, get this, Asuka Anna. That's right, Asuka Anna, who used to be the valet for Antonio Cesaro, always being his little interpreter. Antonio is going to say how he likes you all in 5 different languages. That Asuka Anna. And, you know, when I saw this particular piece happen right here, I was like, wow, okay, this is good. Okay, they're trying to figure out ways how to incorporate Asuka Anna. Okay, that's good. Yeah, she has been kind of sitting on the sidelines there for a hot minute. Nice that they're trying to have her be incorporated into this little rivalry between Eve and Caitlyn. Okay, this could work. It has potential. Now, before Caitlyn could get to the bottom of all this, we saw Asuka Anna. She just hauled off, so that's it for her. We see Eve come up, and she says to Caitlyn, gee, are you okay? I wouldn't want for anything to happen to you. as we have that match coming up next, and we see Kaitlyn, she just pushes Eve on her T-shirt and says to her, "Oh, are you okay? I wouldn't want for anything to happen to you," as we have that match coming up next. And that match was next. Very solid encounter that we had saw from Kaitlyn and Eve. You know, I kind of have a newfound respect for Kaitlyn just a little bit, and I don't want to say this and then you guys are like, "Oh my God, Lee doesn't know what he's talking about. He's insane. Oh, just feel me for a second and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. You may even go out on a limb and say, you know what, on this night, yeah, I can kind of see what you're talking about. The thing that I had liked about Kaitlyn tonight, it reminded me almost of Trish Stratus. And I don't mean the Trish Stratus that we had got towards the end that was just a mega hottie, a mega superstar, just a kick-ass, all-around great women's champion. I'm not talking about that Trish Stratus. Kaitlyn kind of had these ingredients of a beginning Trish Stratus, almost kind of midway there, right, when she ditched that whole TNA stable and was kind of doing her thing more as a competitor. I don't know, there was something about the way she was throwing it down tonight that just kind of reminded me of Trish Stratus. It actually kind of had me say, oh, man, I miss Trish Stratus. I wish she was here right now in the WWE. She'd be lighting it up real good. Kaitlyn looked better in this match as opposed to previous matches that I can recall seeing her in where, quite honestly, to me, at least in my eyes, she kind of came off as if she was putting a little bit of funk into the matches, and it really looked as if Kaitlyn at one key point was going to get the Divas Championship, as she was really having Eve right where she wanted her, and Eve, she did everything she could. She was playing Kaitlyn perfectly. We saw Eve going for the apron, screaming, crying. She did not want to have anything to do with Kaitlyn, but she caused just enough of a distraction to be able to get Kaitlyn caught up between the apron, and pretty much from there is where the momentum had shifted as Eve was successfully able to retain her Divas Championship. So Eve is still your WWE Divas Champion. Let's go now to our next match where the United States Championship was on the line, where Antonio Cesaro had defended it against R-Truth. This was a little bit of a, how can I put this? This match wasn't bad, but I was expecting more from this match, and it was just one of those type of deals where I'm looking at it, and I know what R-Truth, Ron Killings, is capable of. I damn sure know what Antonio Cesaro is capable of. It just kind of came off as if the match should have been better. I'm not saying it was bad, but it should have been better. As always, I was impressed with what we had saw from Cesaro. Cesaro just continuing to show off that impressive strength that he has when he is in that ring. And I always miss the name of the finisher that he does. For you guys in the chat room, if you happen to know the name of that finisher, let me know. I would call that the spike driver or the hammer to the nail. I don't know. That's just how it looks to me every single time he does it. It's very beautiful. Cesaro, though, you knew it was going to happen. If you picked against him, I feel sorry for you because you would have owed some people some serious money. Cesaro picked up the victory over R-Truth. Now it comes to intermission time, as I like to call it, as we had unfortunately got a very poor segment shoved down our throats. It is a pay-per-view night, folks. You are paying to see folks wrestle. You're paying to see folks kick each other's asses. You're not paying to see a lame storyline segment, but unfortunately, this is what we had got right here. And I agree completely with what you just said, buddy. Trust me. I'm talking to somebody on Twitter I'm acknowledging here. Yeah, I agree completely. Somebody had said the AJ Lee scandal on tonight's pay-per-view, that really should have been part of a pre-show, and I agree 100% with those comments, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. It was now the next development in the AJ scandal, as we had saw AJ Lee come out, and she is pretty much telling Vickie Guerrero that she doesn't appreciate what all she's been saying in recent weeks, that all she's doing is just fabricating stuff, she's just making stuff up, and what it really boils down to is Vickie Guerrero possibly being lonely, jealous, and she just really calls it what it is, the truth right here, which is basically Vickie Guerrero doesn't have anything better to do, which is so on point. Well, we see Vickie Guerrero, she's trying to, as always, use that authority figure to bully AJ Lee. I have never heard AJ Lee called little girl so many times in a segment. It was really ridiculous right here. We saw AJ Lee really have some fun moments with Vickie Guerrero, folks. We saw her show a picture of Vickie Guerrero sharing a burrito or eating a burrito with Ricardo Rodriguez, and it prompted AJ Lee to say, hey, Vickie, what are you doing eating Ricardo's burrito? And got a nice little chuckle from the Indianapolis crowd. White hot crowd, too. They were really wide awake for a good majority of this pay-per-view. Great crowd. We also saw another image that had showed Brodus Clay in a hotel room with Vickie Guerrero wearing some type of a lingerie outfit or whatever. And next image, you see her with barbecue sauce all around her face, with Jim Ross. Apparently she's been dipping too much into his special little tangy sauce, that seasoned veteran sauce. You guys get it. And we see Vickie Guerrero. She's just getting really hot-headed, telling AJ Lee that she better mind her place if she knows what's good for her. AJ Lee, she tells Vickie, hey, look, I know that if I put my hands on you, Vickie, I'm going to be out of a job. But from what I understand, if you put your hands on me, you'll be fired immediately and removed as the interim Raw, whatever title that they are making up for it right now. I call it Raw GM. They could call it managing supervisor or anything else they want to call it. Well, let's call it for what it's worth, folks. Let's say it all together. 1, 2, 3, Raw GM, all right? Now, here's what gets really funny right here. After AJ Lee says to Vickie, what are you going to do, out of nowhere, we just see this light-skinned woman with frizzy hair just come out of nowhere, and she just attacks AJ from behind. She follows it up by putting AJ over her shoulders, goes for a back Samoa drop, and then climbs up to the top turnbuckle, goes for a body splash. It's none other than Tamina, folks. That's right, the daughter of Superfly Jimmy Snuka. So we now see a new development here as Tamina lays out AJ Lee. Vickie Guerrero crouches down, laughs in AJ's face. Looks like we have the next development right there. Looks like the cards are finally starting to turn here as far as what we could possibly expect for the next WWE pay-per-view. We'll talk more about that in the later part of the show. Let's pick it up now, and let's go to our next match of the evening, which saw, well, the World Heavyweight Champion Big Show take on Sheamus, rematch number 2. You got to admit, guys, especially those of you that had saw this match tonight, this was another classic encounter. For those of you that have been not really fans of Big Show, a.k.a. Paul White, he has been really putting on some very solid matches within recent months. His demeanor has just changed. You know, it's one of those things, I am almost liking this reign more than when he was the ECW champion. That's how much I'm really enjoying this reign right now. And Big Show, Sheamus 2, another classic encounter, and these two guys were just really, really freaking going at it. You could just tell that Big Show was really taking it to another level in this match. My honest opinion, and I'll go on record, I thought that this encounter was better than their Hell in a Cell encounter. That's how good this match was. Now, let's pick it up towards the end of the match here, because it was something that had me very hot-headed when I had saw this happen. You know exactly what I'm talking about if you had saw the pay-per-view too, folks. Let's pick it up towards the end of the match almost. We see Sheamus. Tides are in his favor. He is winding it up. He is looking for that devastating brogue kick, try to recapture his World Heavyweight Championship. And just when he delivers that kick, we see Big Show, who's struggling to get up on his feet. He sees that brogue kick coming. What does he do? Something that we have really never heard of the Big Show doing that much. Hardly, if never, in his WWE career. He grabs a referee and just throws him in the crossfire. Referee laid out code. That's it for the ref. Now, we see Sheamus. He gets down on his knees, very concerned for the referee, trying to find out what's going on. We see a EMT, a couple of WWE officials, referees, they all come down trying to see what's going on. Sheamus, very concerned, looking on. Keep in mind, folks, bell has not rung in this match. Keep that in mind. Now, we see Big Show at this point, he has fully recovered, and he is waiting for Sheamus to turn around. Next thing you know, we see Sheamus, he does turn around, and Big Show, wham, WMD connects to the face. Sheamus, outcode, Big Show, goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3, referee counts. That is it. Stick a fork in it. DONE, done. Big Show, still World Heavyweight Champion. Right? Right. But check this out. We get a curveball, and I thought it was a BS curveball. We see another referee yell at the referee that called the match, go over to Justin Roberts, and say that Sheamus has won via disqualification, which kind of had me go, WTF, what do you mean the match is a disqualification? Now, I didn't need to do any Google search. I didn't even need to sit up and ask somebody. I'm just kicking back. I'm using my wrestling experience here. Now, to my knowledge, and this is a welcome invitation for anybody that thinks differently otherwise, but last I checked, to get a disqualification would mean you would either need to get a weapon and you would need to use it, especially if it is a match where you can't do that, so it's an illegal move. You hit somebody with a weapon, that's a DQ, that's a disqualification, okay? So you lose that way. Or if you do a low blow, or if you have your opponent in the corner and you're attacking them and the ref gives you till the count of 5 to break up the hold, you don't. You keep on, you're disqualified that way. Point I'm making is, folks, in no shape or form was this supposed to be a DQ. I just thought that was really a dumb move. I kind of felt as if maybe the finish for this was just emphasized just a little bit too much. It's the fine detail that counts. And I would have settled for Big Show just capitalizing on the distraction that he was able to cause right there. Really didn't need to put any more mustard on that. Just let it be the way that it was right there. But it was just too much overkill for me. Now, what was really cool, despite that, was post-match, we see Sheamus. And at this point, Sheamus, he's left the ring, and he's trying to recover. He grabs a steel chair, and he is just beating the living crap out of Big Show, who had his back turned, and he's just having his way with that steel chair as he's assaulting Big Show all the way up to the top stage area. And Big Show is actually on his knees begging, and Sheamus is telling him, yes, beg for me. And Big Show continues to beg. And we see Sheamus deliver a devastating brogue kick to lay out Big Show that's it. But on a good note, looks like we're going to be getting a Big Show Sheamus 3. Nothing wrong with that, folks. All right, let's move on now to our next match, which had saw the team of Dolph Ziggler take on the team of Mick Foley. And you want to talk about miscommunication somewhat on both teams, folks. You go over to Team Ziggler. Now, unfortunately, they did not have the services of one Cody Rhodes. We should let you guys know Cody Rhodes, in case you missed it, he had got injured on the tapings for WWE's main event earlier in the week. And as a result of that, he is unfortunately, ain't no telling how long he's going to be out. I believe he has two separate type of injuries. I know one of them had to do with his deltoids. I can't recall where the other injury is. I want to say shoulder, but I don't want to be incorrect. But he does have two different injuries. And you can actually, if you haven't seen WWE Main Event, you can actually go back. I believe you might be able to check it out on Hulu. I know sometimes you can catch it on YouTube and also on WWE's official channel on YouTube. But you can actually see when the injury happens during the match. And it's some really ugly stuff when you see it. Very unfortunate right there. And for you guys that are curious what's going on with that Ravens game, it looks like the Ravens had won. Looks like the final score is what? Looks like 13-10 there. I could be wrong there. Somebody in the chat room? Yeah, that's the right score, Dave? All right, thanks. Yeah, 13-10 is the final. Baltimore over Pittsburgh. All right. So, yeah, this was really weird watching what had happened right here because Cody Rhodes out the picture. In his place, we had got David Otunga, okay, and we see Dolph Ziggler. He is trying to lead his team. He's letting them know, hey, look, guys, just follow my lead. I'll take us to victory. The team, they don't really seem that confident in him. Wade Barrett, of course, the former Nexus leader, he's letting Ziggler know how he used to be a leader, and we just have all this bickering that's going on as a lot of them don't really feel that they should be taking Ziggler's lead, but he's commanding it. You go over to Team Foley's side, and you got total dysfunction over there. You see Team Foley, none of the guys, they can really get on the same page. Mick Foley, he's reminding them, hey, there is a reason why Dolph Ziggler is the Money in the Bank briefcase winner, not to mention Team Hell No. You guys got a big bullseye on your back. You took out Cody Rhodes. Team Ziggler is going to be looking for some type of retribution here. That's what you're hearing from both sides leading up into this match. And this match, it was good. The real story was really, though, who was going to be those final survivors. Let's tell you about those eliminations. And the eliminations had occurred as followed. Now, we saw Damien Sandow become the first person to get taken out. Really wasn't able to put in his nice little spots as he got taken out by Kane via chokeslam from hell. Now, we saw Dolph Ziggler immediately come into the match, and I just thought, I was so irritated with Bryan Danielson right here. I mean, he just comes in immediately after Kane, gets the job done, pushes him. You know how they do their little thing back and forth. And we see Kane, he eventually just kind of gently clotheslines Bryan Danielson out the ring. And we just see Dolph Ziggler come up from behind with the zigzag. He takes out Kane that way. Big Red Monster, he's gone. That follows up now with David Otunga, who submits to Daniel Bryan's no-lock. Kofi Kingston is soon eliminated by pinfall from Wade Barrett. Daniel Bryan goes out next as he suffers a submission in the form of a cross arm breaker by Alberto Del Rio. Wade Barrett gets taken out by the reality check from The Miz. Just when it looks like maybe this was going to be Miz's night, since he is the poster child for the Survivor Series pay-per-view, it doesn't even happen like that. We see Alberto Del Rio take out Miz via pinfall. So now it looks like the odds are stacked against Randy Orton as the last survivor, as he's now taking on Alberto Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler. And we just really saw some phenomenal stuff right here with Randy Orton. You know, one thing about Randy Orton, and it's just something I have been noticing for many years now, he really has such a hard time trying to just really be him and let those emotions just come out. He looks like he's trying too hard. And for those of you that were watching the pay-per-view, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Critical point there, right when he was starting to get white hot, he just starts throwing his fist up in the air, and he's kind of like, come on. It just kind of seemed a little bit too forced there. He was trying to be charismatic. I got that, but it just kind of felt a little too forced. But Randy Orton, he just starts turning on that momentum, and he delivers those classic moves that Randy Orton, vintage Orton as I like to call him, always does, the power slam, fist pumping. We see Randy Orton, he delivers one sweet RKO out of nowhere, as it was just a series of counters between him and Alberto Del Rio. It comes down to Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, and you're like, okay, this is it right here. And these two guys, this was actually a great encounter when it was just down to these two men getting it on, just going back and forth. Critical point, we see Randy Orton, he has Dolph Ziggler right where he wants this guy, laid out. All he had to do was just roll him over on his back, go for the pin. Team Foley wins. That isn't even what we see. We see Randy Orton go to a place that he hasn't gone in a good minute, which is just punting the hell out of somebody's head. And that's exactly the move that we see Randy Orton try to go for. Spent a little too much time thinking about it and then executing it, because we see Dolph Ziggler, he counters with a beautiful, looked like a modified version of a super kick, and he just pretty much is able to pick up the victory shortly after. Shockingly, Team Ziggler wins. You kind of wonder what's going to be next going forward right here. And it was one of those type of deals where, personally, I would not mind seeing these two lock it up again. I just got this weird feeling, though, that maybe that's not what could possibly happen, and I'll let you guys know the reason why I'm thinking that right after we get done talking about the last match of the evening, which is the triple threat match for the WWE Championship, where, of course, the question was asked, can CM Punk make it one more day going into Monday Night's Raw to have held that WWE Championship for one whole calendar year? Can CM Punk do it? Can he do the unthinkable? Well, he has to go through John Cena, and he has to go through Ryback. Now, folks, this match had played out exactly the way I was saying it was going to go down during our match prediction special, which was, you know what, let these two guys gang up on CM Punk for a little bit, and then we're finally going to see Cena, Ryback. They're going to get it on. They've been teasing it. Now we're finally going to see it happen. And it played out exactly how I had predicted. They're going to go, they being John Cena and Ryback, they were going to go move for move for power move, punch for punch, all that stuff. And, you know, you just see CM Punk, you know, he's getting in his sweet spots here and there when he's able to. Let's pick it up towards the end. We've teased you guys long enough. Let's talk about how this match wrapped up. Now, we see Ryback. He gets back into the game. He delivers Shell Shock to the WWE Champion. He then delivers Shell Shock to John Cena. Looks as if we are about to get crowned a new WWE Champion, when all of a sudden we see three unknown men. Looks like maybe they might work for WWE, maybe in the production crew, whatever. They're wearing all black. We see them jump in, and they just start beating the crap out of Ryback. Now, at this point, you're wondering, where's the bell? Why hasn't the bell gone off? What's going on? And the commentators, they let it be known. Unfortunately, this is a no disqualification match, so this is going to happen whether we like it or not. Match can't be thrown out. So you see these three guys, they are attacking Ryback. They end up taking him over to the announcer's table, and they just do, I believe, a power bomb or a jackknife power bomb, but they send Ryback crashing through the tables. He's laid out. The WWE Champion, in the meantime, he crawls back into the ring. John Cena's laid out, and CM Punk secures the pin and continues to be your WWE Champion going into WWE Raw for a total of 365 days. Now, the real big question that was on a lot of people's minds, who were these three men that had attacked Ryback and interfered in this match for the WWE Championship? Well, folks, if you've been paying attention to WWE's developmental territory, a.k.a. NXT, you guys know these names that I'm about to mention to you all. And I'll give you a little bit of backstory. I'm going to hook you up with the first guy, Dean Ambrose. Now, if that name sounds familiar to you guys, it really should. This guy has been looked upon in high regards. This guy has been compared with being a young Mick Foley. He's really up there like that. A lot of people, they like this guy. And just to give you a quick little background on this guy, he signed with WWE a couple of years back. He's been working down in the developmental territory of NXT wrestling, as I had said. He's best known for his work that he had did in the Heartland Wrestling Association, Shakira, International Wrestling Association, CZW, Dragon Gate. That gives you an idea. This guy has got a really nice, impressive resume. Not to mention, before I let it slip my mind, he's also held the FIP World Heavyweight Championship. So that lets you know a little bit about this guy. He's only 26 years old, by the way. Next guy that we got to talk about, and this guy is another one that's kind of like, Romain Reigns. This guy is a former Canadian football player. He played DT, and he's been working down the NXT wrestling territory for a little bit, and gives you a little bit of insight on him. And the last guy that we want to mention, I know there's one more guy. The name is on the tip of my tongue. Believe the name is, I had the name. I got a brain fart live on the air. I apologize. Yes, Seth Rollins. Thank you. Seth Rollins is the last guy. Seth Rollins, now, from what I was able to gather on him, this guy actually used to be a former Ring of Honor World Champion. So a lot of these names that I'm mentioning here, it should really sound familiar to you. And the main point that I want to make to wrap up the overall coverage of the pay-per-view, great freaking use by the WWE. And this just plays so perfectly right now because, unfortunately, WWE has been a little bit in a rough spot over the past couple of months. They have had the same rivalries just going on. Meanwhile, you got all these younger talents that are down there in NXT. They're hungry. They're waiting patiently. They've got their whole gimmicks down. They're just totally ready to go. They're just waiting for that moment. And I just really think that this is just phenomenal what WWE is doing. And I'm going to tell you the main reasons why I think this is a great move for the WWE. First of all, it gets NXT wrestling more exposure because if you're kind of like me or if you're kind of like most people, you probably might not check out Superstars. You probably might not check out NXT. You're probably like, you know what, I just want to see the main shows. I want to see the Raw. I want to see the SmackDown. I want to see the main event. And, okay, maybe I can watch Saturday Slam. I don't really care about the other stuff. But I think this is great exposure because the real cream of the crop, the next generation of wrestlers, as I like to call it, it's really down there in NXT. Those are the next guys that we could be seeing come up to main WWE programming. So I think this is a great utilization of the NXT roster. And, my whole thing is, why wasn't this done any sooner? That's my really big complaint right now. And, of course, you know where this is all going to be going, folks. And I can't stress it enough. You talk about the way this pay-per-view had ended. Let me do a 1-2 punch real quick. Let's talk about the pay-per-view overall, and then I want to talk a little bit more about that angle that we had saw and why that just totally kicks ass. Overall, the pay-per-view was a damn good, solid pay-per-view. WWE, they really had their cards stacked up here because you think about that last Survivor Series that they had there where The Rock teamed up with John Cena. They really had a lot to go off of. They really had to try to top that. And I think they actually did a superb job with this year's Survivor Series pay-per-view. I think they did this justice. I think this was better than last year's, possibly the year before. And, my hat's off to WWE. They gave us some really great Survivor Series elimination matches. Definitely, I love the way that the Big Show match versus Sheamus had played out. That was nice. And I also had loved how the main event match had went, as you just got a lot of buzz that's just happening right here. Overall, I would have to say out of a scale from, I would say 1 to 10, I'd have to give this pay-per-view, I'll actually jump out there. I'll give this pay-per-view an 8.5 out of 10. I highly recommend, if you didn't see this pay-per-view, check it out, order it, catch the replay, or check it out when it comes out on DVD if you want to try to save a little bit more money, It was definitely a worth checking out, though. The only match, like I said earlier, that I really could have done without, I really honestly could have did without the R-Truth Cesaro. When I compare that with the Divas match, I actually enjoyed the Divas match more than the Cesaro versus Truth. That kind of gives you an idea where I'm coming from here. Now, let's talk about what we got going forward, okay? Going forward, they're actually building up a very nice card for the TLC pay-per-view that's going to be coming next month, December 16th. And, of course, The Rock played a very significant part on this pay-per-view tonight, as he sat up and said, it doesn't matter who the WWE champion is, Ryback, CM Punk, John Cena, doesn't matter, I'm going to be the WWE champion. And, oh my God, I can't believe I almost forgot this. We're going to say this and then we're going to take a commercial break, get you all's reactions. The thing that was really funny about this was WWE, they had sat up and they had asked the question to folks that had tout, or they wanted them to tout it out in a video, who would they like to see The Rock take on at next year's Royal Rumble? And we saw some pretty lame-ass responses, okay? This is my whole thing. I can't stress this enough. If you got mad facial hair and you got bass in your voice, I do not want to see you do a freaking tout video offering who you would like to see or talking about wrestling. You look sad, especially when you are so freaking energetic about it. The thing that was really disappointing for me was seeing the young black brother come on, and he's talking about Ryback. Okay, I get that you're a Ryback fan, but do you really have to look like an idiot on television? And I don't know, maybe that was his whole point. Maybe he wanted to act like an idiot, but I know it's because of people like him and the first guy that we had saw with the glasses and the Wolfman Jack beard or the Don DeLuise beard. looked like he needed to be in ZZ Top or something like that. You give wrestling fans a bad freaking rep. It's bad enough as it is that you have some people that'll sit up and they'll turn a snub nose to the sport of professional wrestling entertainment, and, they make fun of it, they mock it, but then when you sit up and you release these freaking videos that show basically grown-ass men acting like idiots, it's no wonder wrestling fans are looked upon as stupid, slow. They don't have the highest education that they have is 5th grade or 6th grade. I mean, that's actually the rep that they try to give wrestling fans, and by they, I mean the overall society of those that give those snub noses, that frown upon wrestling. WWE, don't set up your fans like this. I mean, the least thing you can do is go with your target audience, okay? Go with the teenagers, you know what? Or go with the last guy that did the tout video. It was a guy with his kids. I like that. I wouldn't mind seeing more tout videos like that, because when I look at something like that, I say, okay, here's a guy that grew up watching WWE. He grew up watching wrestling. He's probably checked out quite a few wrestling promotions, and he's got his kids growing up on it. He's passing that tradition along to them. I freaking dig that. I love that, man. But don't show me some grown-ass man with hair on his face that probably has hair on his grapefruits, and he's acting like an idiot. I mean, filter it. It seems like every single time we go to these WWE tout videos, we have a series of grown-ass men that are acting like idiots. And these will probably be the same guys that has probably not seen a big old slice of that pie before in their entire life. That's the real sad part, especially that first guy with the glasses. He looks like he probably visits a ton of adult sites on a daily basis, locked in his mother's basement in a 3-story house. You go figure, okay? But that's my message to the WWE. Please stop with the bad tout videos. Give us the kids. Give me kids either 8 years old going all the way up to 17, 18 years old. Give me something around that. If you're going to show a grown adult, okay, first of all, I feel sorry for a grown adult that has to sit up and go on tout to get attention from the WWE. I don't mean to get on a rant here, but I just got to be for real. I was really blown when I saw that segment, especially with the brother acting like an idiot. I'm like, oh, my God. It's bad enough we get the rep that we do, but, man, to be a brother and then you're acting like an idiot, my God, that's all I got to say about that. Some of y'all, you might not like what I had said, but if you're like me, you like your wrestling, and, you're tired of that little funk stigma that's put out there. And some of you all might be like, you know what, that was kind of harsh, especially about the whole intellect thing. Here's my challenge to you, and then we're going to go to a commercial break. Here's my challenge to you. Whatever your favorite wrestling website is, even if it's not ours, if you have a favorite wrestling website that you usually go to for wrestling-related news, do me a favor. If you have the Alexa toolbar that lets you see the rank global outside the U.S. and in the U.S., if you have that little toolbar, and it's free, you can get it for your Google Chrome, whatever, Internet Explorer, whatever. If you have that, pull up your favorite wrestling website. And there's quite a few wrestling websites. When you look at the Alexa description, it actually will sit up and say that the highest intellect of folks that go to this website that follow wrestling have a 5th, 6th, 7th grade education. I didn't make that up. That's what some sites that are monitoring sites like wrestling sites. That's how they are dubbing the overall wrestling fans. I don't know about you, but when I hear something like that, that kind of pisses me off. You know what I'm saying? But that's it right there. All right, so we're going to take a very brief commercial break. We got some guys that's patiently been waiting. We're going to get you guys on the line. I'm done talking. I'm going to talk about what I think is going to happen come TLC, but I want to get you guys' reactions to tonight's pay-per-view. So we're going to go on ahead and we're going to take a very brief commercial break. Then when we come right back, we're just going to jump right all into it. We got like a half hour of showtime left. We come right back. The floor is yours, guys. So let's play a song. I want to play something short, sweet, simple. Tonight's music selection, and it's one of my favorites. Good luck finding this album because it is really scarce. You have to basically try to get a bootleg copy of it. That's how hard it is to find this. It's one of my personal favorites. It is from the band Hole, and for those of you guys that might be familiar with that name, that is one Courtney Love's band. Of course, Courtney Love used to be the wife of former lead singer and guitarist of Nirvana, Kurt Cobain. And a lot of folks, depending on who you talk to, they feel certain ways towards Courtney Love. Some feel she was the one responsible for the supposed suicide of Kurt Cobain. We got others that just don't like her altogether. And then we have that core audience that acknowledges that she makes some pretty damn good music, but she's always having personal problems. She's been battling demons for a lot of years. She continues to battle her demons so bad, it's just that bad, all right? I'm not going to even go into it. But the song selection tonight is from their MTV Unplugged album. Again, this is bootleg. And the song I'm going to play is a great rendition that they did of Duran Duran's Hungry Like a Wolf. So we'll play that. We'll take a commercial break. We'll come right back, and then we'll jump right all into it, get you guys' reactions. All right, folks, so you're checking out the RCWR Post Show coming at you live right now on November 19th, 2012, 1 minute past the 12 o'clock hour. It's now Monday. Good morning to you all on the East Coast. We'll be coming right back. Do hang tight.
Down in the city, night is alive. In the subway, urban survival. Woman, you want me, give me a sign. You check my freedom, just a moment behind. Touch with the ground, I'm on the hunt, I'm after you. I smell like a clown, lost and I'm found, and I'm hungry like a wolf. Night is alive, earth is the fire, yeah, I'm on the hunt, I'm after you. I smell like a sound, lost and I'm found, and I'm hungry like a wolf. My hot cord got lost. Chad, forget it, it's over. Oh, it was so spontaneous.
Next Saturday, it's the return of the weekend edition of the RCWR show. We're gonna have your balls to the walls with kick-ass reviews for Soundgarden's King Animal, Aerosmith's Music from Another Dimension, Queensryche's GF Tate's Kings and Thieves, and Trent Reznor's latest project, How to Destroy Angels. It's going to be a kick-ass episode with the very latest in wrestling-related news and beyond. It's the RCWR Show Weekend Report next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, right here on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, Black Avenger Lee Sanders here. Just wanted to take this time out to thank you for checking out tonight's episode. And if you liked our coverage of WWE, be sure to check us out on our Tuesday Night Wrestling Report edition of the RCWR Show, where we cover the very latest fallout from WWE Raw, very latest in WWE wrestling-related news, and so much more. And the best part about all this is we have live fan reaction, so be sure to check it out every single Tuesday night at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern, right here on blogtalkradio.com/the-RCWR Show. Hey, if you're always on the go, not a problem. Download our episodes for all your portable devices just by going to the iTunes and Zune marketplaces. Type in the keywords, the RCWR Show.
Always on the go? No problem. Subscribe to us in the iTunes and Zune marketplaces by using keywords the RCWR Show. Episodes also available on Stitcher. Download now so you never miss an episode.
Hold one. Arm drag. Whoa! This is
Brett screwed Brett.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? If this guy's a serious professional.
Brett screwed Brett.
hold two. Arm bar.
Hey, get a nice shot of the brand new Mr. and Mrs. Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate your hat. I hate your t-shirts. I hate your wristbands. I hate your shoes. I hate your music. I hate the C-Nation. I hate everything that you stand for.
So does Rule.
Yeah, they do.
Hold three. The moss-covered three-handle family Gradunzo.
Live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., this is the RCWR Show with your host, Lee Sanders.
Yeah, all right, and we're back. You're listening to the RCWR Post Show, coming at you live right now on blogtalkradio.com. Welcome all that's checking out the show tonight. For those of you that are a little bit curious what Courtney Love has been up to, from what we were able to gather, and this is the very latest, just last month she had told Rolling Stone magazine that she had planned on returning to a solo career, and she actually had just recorded a single. Now, from what we were able to gather on that single, it's called This Is War, and she said that she was looking to release the song sometime in February 2013. She says it's like pretty much a 3-minute track. She says it sounds pretty kick-ass, pretty slamming, so who knows, maybe we'll get to see that. Nice to hear that she's still making music. Personal message I would send to Courtney Love, though, whatever that new band is that you got going around, you're calling it Hole, I don't recognize that. You need to go back to the guys that you had initially and do what you did on that Celebrity Skin album. You had Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins as your producer and also uncredited writer for a lot of the songs on that album, which went on to win a few Grammys. I would just get back with the original band and get back with Billy Corgan and let's make some really good stuff happen. Of course, one of my dreams that I know will never happen, it's a dream combination for me, would be to see what would happen if Billy Corgan, Dave Grohl of Foo Fighters, and Courtney Love could enter a studio and make some shit. That would be awesome. Let's open up the phone lines. Feel free to call on in right now. Share your reactions to tonight's WWE Survivor Series pay-per-view. Call us right now at 646-478-3525. Once again, that's 646-478-3525. Let's go to our good friend. The way we're going to do this, we're going to look at the people who have been on hold for the longest. Now, it's not our fault. Sometimes the counter resets a little bit. So right now it looks like we got Homie, who's patiently been waiting. Let's go to Homie. Homie, live from the San Antonio area. You're live, my friend. How you been?
Wait, hang on, homie. Try that again. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Lee?
Hey, pretty good, man. How you been?
Can't complain. Pretty solid pay-per-view tonight. What I like to see with my pay-per-views, I don't know about you, is I like to see stars be born. And to me tonight, with Ziggler going over Orton, and then the threes at the end with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose and all them, I really enjoyed it. It was about time. You got heat with them. You got everybody talking about them and how Ziggler won. I really enjoyed this pay-per-view.
Yeah, hands down, yeah. Did you have a high point, a low point?
The high point, I was really shocked to see Sheamus and the Big Show do that electric chair move, where Sheamus had Big Show on top of his shoulders. That was pretty impressive right there. And I guess the low point was probably the U.S. title match, like you said. I'm not a real big fan of R-Truth, never have been. I think the little Jimmy gimmick is kind of getting old. And I'd rather have saw someone else in his place. Maybe Tyson Kidd or something, Justin Gabriel, maybe a rematch with them too. But I just never really gotten into R-Truth. That's maybe my reason why I didn't really care for the match.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. Yeah. And your high point?
I guess seeing Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. I've been really big fans of those two guys, and I was just wondering when they were ever going to step up to the WWE. And seeing them on Survivor Series really shocked the hell out of me. I did not expect that. And now,
would you say it's almost up there with the debut of Rocky Maivia?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what they're going to do with it. I just hope they don't, shit on it. How these guys come in and then just end it really quick. I know they're going to probably be doing something with Ryback, so I hope Ryback doesn't destroy them and then they're back to NXT. That's what I just hope they continue the storyline in a good way. Yeah.
I agree. I agree with that 100%. Scale of 1 to 10, what'd you get a pay-per-view?
I give it an 8. I think it was 10 times better than Hell in a Cell. By far, probably one of the best pay-per-views they've had so far this year.
And let me ask you this: now that it looks as though CM Punk, his destiny, is The Rock, and I think the question, needs to be asked now rather than later. Now is a perfect time to ask it. I mean, the way it's looking right now, it is really looking as though CM Punk is being set up to just hand that belt over to The Rock for a guy that has been the WWE champion for now 365 days. Do you buy the idea of The Rock getting that title, holding it as briefly as however he's going to hold it? Or do you say to yourself, you know what, CM Punk is that workhorse. He's the one that's been doing all the dirty work. Let him continue to have it. He could get such a huge one-up if he defeats The Rock for the title.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of disrespectful to Punk to have him held the belt that long and just hand it over to The Rock. To have a Rock, what is, supposedly going to happen, Rock Cena 2 at WrestleMania. If you're going to have, CM Punk lose to The Rock, have him come back and be in the Royal Rumble and win the Rumble and have him face The Rock in a rematch at WrestleMania. I would have enjoyed that, and then you can have maybe Punk go over The Rock. I would have rather see that than, just have him hand over the title to The Rock. And then what's next for Punk? Who's he going to face at WrestleMania? The Undertaker? It leaves so many questions of why just have him just hand the belt over to The Rock like that.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. As always, homie, we thank you for that call. We're going to go to our next call in just a little bit. I want to just let you guys know two things real quick. For those of you, because I just got asked, how'd you do tonight? Well, if you were paying attention to our Twitter handles, I sent out a little picture, and it was an image of some random pieces of paper. I was basically getting ready for the show, and you could see my picks. And I did pretty damn good. The only thing I did not get right, Team Foley. I thought what had happened with the Big Show, that was a botch move on WWE's part. So as far as I'm concerned, Big Show, I did say he's going to beat Sheamus. He's still going to keep his World Heavyweight Championship. They put a little too much mustard on the finish to that. But, yeah, I only messed up one. Even when I saw the bonus match that we had got, I was like, let me go with this. And so I did pretty good on that one. You know, I want to say this about Survivor Series in a nutshell. They did some great groundwork going towards that next pay-per-view. And I couldn't help but sit up as I was watching the pay-per-view and say, what possible combinations could we see at the TLC pay-per-view next month, knowing that The Rock is just around the corner for CM Punk. One of the matches that I was thinking about that should happen, it should happen at TLC. We should get John Cena taking on Dolph Ziggler. We should. However, based on what we had saw in that exchange between Randy Orton and Dolph Ziggler, there's a high possibility that it could be Ziggler and Orton that gets it on. But I would be more sold on the Cena versus Ziggler. Of course, you got to do a Big Show versus Sheamus Part 3. As I said on our match prediction special, you need to have a third encounter. Let it end in a gimmick match, okay? And who knows? Maybe Sheamus could get the belt back. But you got to do a gimmick match. I can see that fate being sealed, those two guys hook up at TLC. Now, you know, I think WWE kind of dropped the ball here as far as saying, oh, well, The Rock's going to be coming back at the Royal Rumble. He's going to be getting a shot at the respected WWE champion. You know, I kind of think they dropped the ball a little bit. I think they shouldn't have announced it. I think it should have just been a big old surprise to really create buzz. And there's a way they could possibly maybe, you know, still kind of save it a little bit. You know, one original storyline I had in my head, if they wouldn't have announced it, was you could have Mick Foley. We're hearing the rumblings. You know where I'm going with this. You could have Mick Foley take on CM Punk at TLC, get him nice and ready for The Rock. All right? And, you know, they got that history right there. They would have, hands down, a great freaking match. Foley, without a doubt, he can pull one more out of his hat. He has one more match in him. And I think it would just be phenomenal if he could do something with Mick Foley. Could it happen is a different story, but I would like to see at TLC CM Punk take on Mick Foley. I know WWE Creative is thinking about it. Why not pull that trigger? Be kind of nice right there. But, you know, I was also thinking, you know, if WWE, if they never would have released the statement saying that The Rock was going to be at the Royal Rumble, just think about how badass that would have been for a storyline. You see Mick Foley take on CM Punk at the TLC pay-per-view, and then Mick Foley loses, and then you can just hear Mick Foley go, well, you know what, I just made a very good call to a friend of mine, and he for sure wants to teach you a thing or two about respect. You'll know who that guy is next week, and then you go to the next episode of Raw, If You Smell, and then you got The Rock. I mean, that really would have been kick-ass. Then you could have set something up right there. I'm very curious to see how December is going to just really connect well with The Rock. Also, I'm looking at the tag division right now. I'm looking at those tag belts. With Cody Rhodes being out of the equation, there's really no telling how long he's going to be out. I would think he's going to be out for December. You know, you're going to need Daniel Bryan and Kane to do something there. In the meantime, why not have them work a pay-per-view match with the primetime players? Let's really see what they're capable of. And, you know, another match that did look good to me until we saw what happened with Ryback, I was kind of looking, I was also kind of entertaining the idea of Cena versus Ryback. But based on what we had saw from that attack by those guys, next couple of weeks during Raw, we could probably see Ryback kind of pull an old storyline there where he's trying to find out who these guys, why these guys attacked him, and go on this little revenge path for the next couple of weeks, trying to find out who's the mastermind behind it. Throw in Paul Heyman in there. Eventually everything is connecting to maybe Brad Maddox. Maybe it could be set up in a way where Ryback can get some type of retribution, either on Seth, Dean, or the other guy. Give me some time, folks. I'll have all their names memorized next coming episodes. But you see where I'm going with that. That's probably going to be the in-case scenario with Ryback there going into TLC. But, I mean, when you just think about it right now, the TLC card for next month, it's already shaping up to be a pretty freaking solid pay-per-view. Can't wait to see how everything else just really comes together leading up to it. All right, let's go to our next call right now. Feel free to squeeze in those calls while we're still on the air. We got about 10 minutes left of showtime. You can call us right now, 646-478-3525. Once again, that's 646-478-3525. Let's go to our good buddy Dave from the Michigan area. Dave, you're live, my friend.
Hey, how's it going, Lee?
Hey, pretty good, man. How you been?
Not too bad. It's been a long day.
God, tell me about it.
I got to see the whole pay-per-view. I got to see the tail end of it, like the last two matches.
Mm-hmm.
But from seeing Ziggler, go over on Orton, which shocked me to see Orton even attempt a point kick, because when you asked him on Twitter, he's like, "Oh, the W's all won't let me even do that no more."
Mm-hmm.
So that makes you think he's gonna be going heel pretty soon, almost. And for him to not finish it like he normally would was kind of odd.
Yeah.
And then to see Team Punk or Team ROH, whatever you want to call them, that was really shocking. And to see them go that direction was it makes you think, like you and Homie were talking earlier, about WWE is really looking bright right now towards the future when they start bringing up these young guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have Dolph Ziggler going over on Randy Orton. You have The Miz looking like a pretty good face.
Mm-hmm.
And, it looks just really good right now. I think it's actually really interesting to see where they go with this whole scenario with Miz, Ziggler, and the Three Amigos, what do you want to call them?
3MB, sound like some damn tape.
Yeah, I know, but I actually meant Ambrose and them, not 3MB.
Oh, that 3B, yeah, they're good.
I've seen some people even put Aces and 8 rip-off or something like that. I was like, yeah, not really. Kind of like maybe a revamp of the NXT invasion, maybe a little bit. But I think it's kind of obvious where this is going. It seems like it's all put together by Heyman almost. And just to have them jump Ryback, it makes kind of sense. Because at first, I thought it was a bunch of jobbers getting revenge or something. A bunch of those creative wrestlers.
Right. They got some really great potential right here, Dave, because, I did happen to finally see the match that Maddox had with Ryback there. If they do it right, they can have one explosive storyline on their hands, because now that they've introduced these guys from NXT and they've referenced them from NXT, now you have that window officially open there where you can talk about Ryback's NXT history.
Yeah, last time I checked, Seth Rollins was the NXT World Champion.
That's what. Yeah. That's last I checked too. Yeah.
The last match, I've been watching. Only the hardcore fans, honestly, are going to pay attention to NXT and all that. You're not going to get those newer fans really go online to look for wrestling matches. Well, you might, but unless you're going to go look for wrestling. Yeah.
It's good that they did this. It comes at a really good time too. Because now WWE reports have already come in. They're going to try to cut the roster down a little bit.
Yes.
They weren't trying to do it during Linda's Independent run, but now that she's lost, they can finally make their cuts. They held off just try to make her look good. They didn't want it being used against her. So, I would expect them to, of course, cut people that really just have been wrestling worth a damn. But that NXT, that's their cream of the crop right there. You got that, of course, with Fandango. I mean, early 2000s.
Don't go there.
Yeah. I went there.
Horrible.
Fandango.
That looks so horrible. I mean, Johnny Curtis is okay, but I mean, that just looks horrible. His gimmick he had at NXT was better than this whole thing, which is being the creeper or whatever.
Yeah, I will admit that. Yeah, I don't know. It has potential if he does it right.
Will they bring back Deuce and Domino too?
Oh no! I don't want to see them. No. Because see, look, if you're gonna bring them back, then unfortunately you're also gonna have to bring back the Dicks, and I don't want to see those guys make a comeback. Thank you, Dave, for that call. We appreciate it. If you want to get in your call, talk about how you either liked or disliked the pay-per-view, feel free to do so right now. You can call us. We got just a couple of minutes left, 646-478-3525. Once again, 646-478-3525. Otherwise, we had made an announcement on a very special edition episode of the RCWR Post Show that came on Friday night as we were covering the fallout from Shine Wrestling, as it was the Shine 5 pay-per-view where Awesome Kong, a.k.a. Amazing Kong, had made her return to wrestling just after being gone for over a year. In case you didn't check out that post show, encourage you to check it out, especially if you're familiar with Shine Wrestling. But special announcement from here on out, as we said on Friday, we are going to be covering Shine Wrestling. Now, the next pay-per-view that they're going to be doing won't be happening until January 6, 2013. I believe that's on a Saturday or Sunday. For sure, we'll be doing a post-show covering it. It's our way of trying to put more exposure on independent wrestling promotions, especially those that cater more towards female wrestling. And if you are a fan of female wrestling, you definitely want to check out our coverage on it. Some really great stuff. And you can't go wrong ordering the pay-per-views from them either. Pay-per-views, just to stream it online, you can just pay $10. That's the really cool part. Get like 2 hours worth of live wrestling, great fan reactions as you're chatting with people in a chat room, as you're watching the pay-per-view right along with them. Some really cool stuff, nice little different packages that's out there. You can even watch it live via PC, video on demand, so you can go back, check it out later, order a DVD copy. Nice little options that they have, some really great stuff. Little experiment that we're going to try for the next couple of months based off the early numbers that we had saw for our coverage of it this past Friday. There is a demand, so for sure we're going to be covering it more. And who knows, maybe we can also try to find our way into Extreme Rising, as that's been kind of slowly starting to get just a little bit of good buzz as well, as it seems to be getting better, the product that is, with each show that they put out. All right, well, I do thank you guys for checking out the show tonight. Of course, we will be having a Tuesday night Wrestling Report edition of the RCWR show. We'll cover the fallout from Monday Night Raw, very latest in WWE wrestling-related news, and more. Impact Wrestling, it was pre-taped last week, but we will be coming on Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern to cover the fallout from Impact Wrestling. So, in case we don't hear from you guys this Tuesday or this Thursday, as it is Thanksgiving holiday, you all do be safe and you all be kind to one another, folks. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. Kick-ass show tonight. Thanks to Dave. Thanks to Homie. Thanks for all of you that had checked out the show tonight. Really hope you appreciate the content. If you did like what we be sure to hit us up at blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR show. Hit that follow button. You'll never miss out on all our episodes. Be sure to subscribe to us in the iTunes Zoom Marketplace. Use the keywords The RCWR Show. That's going to do it, folks. Until we hear from you all this Tuesday night, you do be safe and be kind to one another. See you later.